www.whitepapermig.net.
Welcome to this edition of Planet Earth Weekly News. This edition is very informative. It needs to be about what is going on, the 2012 phenomena, and I think it's a complete report about what may see in 2012. I'm gonna give you something before I start. You know now that scientists was telling about some icy comet storm that was hitting the sun in 2010 in December, like 25 in just 10 days, that some icy comet was hitting the sun, and they now say that maybe we're gonna see a big one in the next eye that may appear to be a second sun, and this was space.com information, so it's reliable. Maybe the thing that we want to see is the planetoid or the planet X or Nibiru. I don't know, but this is very interesting because the report I'm gonna read now explain a lot, and it's good information that you need to read and analyze. So I'm gonna start now. Please, if you're doing something, please try to be focused on this report. When I read it, I was focused, and it's very, very weird and scary at some point. So I'm gonna start now. Report that the Arctic sunrise in Greenland arrived 2 days early on January 11 has shocked scientists the world over, as this historic event leaves many wondering if in fact the end of days are truly here. In a world where virtually nothing is as certainly except death and taxes, the precession has changed the orientation of the rotation axis of a rotation body of the Earth in relation to the Sun and Moon has remained a constant throughout recorded human history, with the single exception being an ancient occurrence where the Sun was reported to have stood still in the sky for nearly 20 hours. The most recent example of this ancient occurrence appears in Hebrew Christian text, the Book of Joshua, chapter 10, verse 13, written in the 3rd century CA, which says, "And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies." Is not this written in the Book of Joshua? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hasted not to go down about the whole day. Important to note is that the information relating to this occurrence in the Book of Joshua referred to a much more ancient text called the Book of Jasher, wherein the sun standing still story was contained. The Book of Jasher, however, belongs to an extensive body of ancient writing normally called the Lost Books of the Old Testament, which no longer exist in our world today after their destruction was ordered in 325 AD by the Christian bishops establishing their new religion during the First Council of Nicaea. Notwithstanding the Book of Jasher's destruction, the story of a time in our past when the sun stood still was further written about by nearly all of the ancient cultures the world over, and as documented by the Russian-born American independent scholar Immanuel Velikovsky and the Azeri-born American scholar Zecharia Sitchin. From Velikovsky's research of the early civilization of Mesoamerica, he found that their ancient writings referred to a day when the sun rose slightly, set again in the east, and then after an extended night rose again. Though these writings are contained in the Annals of Caulititlan, which further says that the world humans live in is destroyed once every 300,000 40 years, and so far has gone through four such destruction: flood, wind, fire, and a fire rain. Note: the Christian bishop who accompanied the Spaniards in their conquest of Mesoamerica, and just like their predecessor, predecessor at the First Council of Nicaea, ordered the wholesale destruction of nearly all of the ancient Aztec and Mayan civilization writing and cultural artifacts, with the sole exception being the earliest known book writing in the Americas called the Dresden Codex, that was purchased by the German Royal Library at Dresden from a private owner in Vienna in 1739. Note: the Dresden Codex has been credited with containing the most powerful and secret information relating to our Earth true story than any other ancient writing, but was again targeted for destruction when during the waning month of World War II, February 13, 14, 1945, the Christian elite nation of the United States and Great Britain launched a massive air assault against the city of Dresden with 1,300 heavy bombers dropping more than 3,900 tons of high explosive bomb and incendiary devices, destroying 15 square miles in a fireball that lasted for days. The city of Dresden was a cultural landmark of little or no military significance and was referred to as the Florence of the Alps, and though heavily damaged, some parts being completely destroyed, the Dresden Codex did survive, including the last page that described a future apocalyptic scenario in which mankind is to be devastated in a flood. Sitchin's research further note the Andean tradition that during the third year of the reign of ancient Peruvian monarch Tiyu Yupanqui Pachacuti II, the 15th monarch in ancient empire times, there occurred an extended night of some additional 20 hours in 1433 BC, which when matched with the information stated in the books of Joshua, as related from the book of Jasher, makes sense that if the Middle East had nearly a day of light when the sun stood still, South America would indeed have an extended night of equal time. Now, at this time, the reader of these things must ask themselves, why would two separate ancient civilizations, separated from each other by great ocean and having no contact with each other, describe the same exact thing? Modern science and their propaganda enables in politics and media would have you believe these ancient accountings are nothing more than myths and legends and are not to be believed. For anyone attempting to say otherwise, like Velikovsky, Sitchin, and even us, the attacks are ruthless, immediately and unrelenting, and all discussed to destroy the messenger, as the message itself could be more clear and convincing. To the shocking January 11 sunrise in Greenland, that for the first time in recorded history occurred 2 days early that it has for thousands of years, these scientists claim it is the result of global warming melting Greenland glacier, but failed to mention that the research that claimed all world glaciers were melting has been proven to be a deliberate lie, and the top scientist making this claim, Dr. Syed Hasnain, forced to admit that his claim of all world glaciers melting was speculation and not supported by any formal research. For there to be a lie, however, there has to be a reason for it, and in this case, it is nothing less than impending catastrophe about to hit our Earth that we have been told was coming for thousands of years and is indeed beginning to occur now, just like our ancient ancestors warned it would. Now, to fully understand what this global catastrophe is all about, one must look at exactly what the ancients wrote about it, and can be summarized as follows. Number 1. Every few thousand years, 300,500 and 500, a planetary-sized object sojourns through our solar system, causing chaos among the planets. The timing of this mysterious object appearance coincides with a human population grown so large and powerful, it begins to threat all other life on Earth. Number 3. The events preceding this mysterious object return, including social upheaval, world wars, mass animal deaths, and powerful storm. Number 4. The culminating event is this mysterious object coming so close to Earth that our planet's rotation is stopped, reversed, and restarted, causing massive earthquakes and tidal waves that wipe out nearly all human civilization. Number 5. Both immediately prior to prior to and following the cataclysmic destruction of Earth, the gods returned to save a remnant of humanity and help it rebuild a shattered Earth. Important to note about these summations is that it contains the collected myths and legends of every single ancient culture and religious tradition on Earth. Can they all be wrong? The entrenched power who rule over humanity works without ceasing, making sure that you believe them and not what the ancient says, while at the same time they have begun accumulating for themselves vast wealth to begin their own preparation for survival. They care nothing about spending everything you have and destroying the global economy because they know there is nothing to be a tomorrow. Isn't going to be a tomorrow. They just have to keep you from knowing it too. Note, the science involving a planetary object's ability to stop and reverse our Earth's rotation can be read as follows. The superstorms that have broken out all around the world continue pounding our planet like the ancient warned will happen too, and include a super snowstorm in China that has flattened over 100,000 homes, a superstorm in Pakistan that has virtually destroyed that nation with historic flooding, a superstorm in Australia that has caused biblical floodings, a superstorm in Brazil now causing that South American nation's worst disaster in history, a superstorm in Sri Lanka that has nearly destroyed that island nation's ability to feed itself, a superstorm in the Philippines that has killed nearly 60 and left hundreds of thousands homeless, a superstorm in California that pounded one of America's greatest growing regions with over 6 days of rain, a superstorm in Central Europe where 2 months' worth of rain poured down over one 24-hour period. And if this superstorm weren't enough to shatter the complacency of even the hardest critic of this event, a warning issued by the United States last Friday surely should. And as we can read, a group of 117 scientists who work for the USGS aren't talking about earthquakes and instead are warning us of something that could be even more destructive. The USGS unveiled Friday a new study of what they call an arc storm scenario. It's a megastorm that will measure rain in feet instead of inches. Arc storm is a hypothetical scenario that describes a rainstorm that produces a 10-foot wall of water that could flood a swath of the state from the Yosemite Valley to the Pacific Ocean. Accompanying this superstorm are mass animal deaths being reported by the thousands of all around the world and new reports of plane crashes occurring because of the rapid shifting of our Earth's magnetic poles. All occurring, mind you, while the powers that be continue saying all is well, that is okay, while at the same time they continue rushing our world seed stocks to what they have named the Doomsday Ball, buried on the Arctic island. To the mysterious object the ancient warned will reappear in our lifetime, these same powers continue to search for, as we can read from a December 2003 US report. Our sun may have a companion that disturbed comet from the edge of the solar system, a giant planet with up to 4 times the mass of Jupiter, researchers suggest. A NASA space telescope launched last year may soon detect such a steel companion to our sun, if it actually exists, in the distant icy realm of the comet-birthing Oort cloud. We surround our solar system with billions of icy objects. Just remember these sentences. We surround our solar system with billions of icy objects. And you want to see why I'm talking about next when I read at the end of the report. In a previous report, massive earthquake fears rise after mysterious object moved near to Earth. We further warned about this object that US scientists first discovered in 1983, and as we can read as reported by the Washington Post, the December 30, 1983 edition, in which in part say, a heavenly body, possibly as large as the giant planet Jupiter and possibly so close to Earth that it will be part of this solar system, has been found in the direction of the constellation Orion by an orbiting telescope above the US infrared satellite. So mysterious the object that astronomers don't know if it's a planet, a giant comet, a nearby protostar that never got hot enough to be a star, a distant galaxy so young that it is still in the process of forming its first star of a galaxy so shrouded in dust that no one of this light cast by its star even gets told. In the year following the US announcement of the discovery of this mysterious object, their President Ronald Reagan began warning about the alien threat associated with it, including to the Soviet leader Gorbachev, who in talking to Reagan was quoted to have said, "At our meeting in Geneva, the US President said that if the Earth faced an invasion by extraterrestrials, the United States and the Soviet Union will join forces to repel such an invasion. I shall not dispute the hypothesis, though I think it's early yet to worry about such an intrusion." Not just to Gorbachev either did Reagan let his fear be known, as during a speech before the United Nations he warned our world would have to unite to face the alien danger. Interesting to know is that the fears Reagan had of this alien are still held by those ruling the United States, and as evidenced by a leaked US Department cable dated November 9, 2005 from their embassy in Ukraine that says, "It is critical and embassy staff understand that they are not discussing under any circumstances concern that US Department of Defense has with UFOs entering orbit." Once again, the seriousness of this matter cannot be overstated. To the immediate future of what we as world face, and as outlined by the Sorcha Faal in her seminal works, The Mask of the Dark Gods, the coming destruction of planet Earth and battle begin for throne of this world, the return of the Einherjar warriors. The certainty is more tyranny, as the ruling powers seek to keep denying the truth to humanity of what is not only happening now, but what is going to happen in the future. And nowhere, perhaps, it is more evidenced that by the statement of NASA laboratory head Dr. James Hansen, the United States' most prominent publicity-funded climatologist, who has openly called for America to be ruled by decree like communist China, and has also called for sanctions against his own country. Dr. Hansen, of course, obscured his true motive in the false global warming rhetoric being used to explain the rise of these superstorms so that the truth of them will remain hidden. So this is the final of the report. So I told you to remember a sentences that I will search again here. I'm gonna tell you okay, remember that they say that a heavenly body may send icy objects. It say a giant planet with up 4 times the mass of Jupiter, researchers suggest a NASA space telescope launched last year may soon detect a such a stellar companion to our sun. If actually exists in the distant icy realm of the comet Virgin or cloud, which surround our solar system with billions of icy objects. Okay, I have a article dated January 19, 2011. They say sun pelted by icy comet storm. They say that maybe the planet is the time of mass of Jupiter, and is in the distant icy realm of the comet Virgin or cloud, which surround our solar system with billions of icy objects. Check this out. On December 19, 2011, there's a report on space.com that says sun pelted by icy comet storm. Okay, look at this. It says for 10 days in December, we're talking like 1 month and 12 days away from today. For 10 days in December, a mob of icy comets pelted the sun in an extraordinary cosmic storm. Scientists who monitor the solar tempest now think the flurry of some diving comets might herald a much bigger comet to come, one that could potentially be visible to the naked eye. The storm began on December 13 and ended on the 22. Carl Batten of the Naval Research Lab in Washington, D.C. said in a statement, "During that time, the Solar Heliospheric Observatory SOHO detected 25 comets diving into the sun. It was crazy. So the report said that might have a much bigger comet to come, one that could potentially be visible to the naked eye. And this may be the second sun that the ancient civilization say and we will see in the naked eye, because now there is another report that say, will Betelgeuse really become a second sun in 2012? And that's it from the space.com. It's a guess. I'll say that the supergiant star Betelgeuse has a vast plume of gas almost as large as our solar system and a gigantic bubble bubbling on its surface. Shown. Several online, including the Huffington Post, have reported that the star Betelgeuse will undergo a supernova explosion next year. Yes, that's 2012. And shine as brightly in the sky as a second sun. So, NASA says that the giant object is in the icy Oort cloud of Orion. The sun is having a lot of impacts of icy objects, sometime. Now they say that we may see a big comet. Remember that they in the 1983 says a planet, a comet, or a galaxy. So now they say that maybe to not upset, maybe I'm not see this true, but maybe to not upset this is a planet. They say that we're gonna see a big comet in the naked eye, and now they say that some red explosion may take place of Betelgeuse supernova, and we may see and shine as a second sun. So things are getting very weird as you listen to the report, and at the end of this report I'm telling you that analyze this Betelgeuse supernova explosion that can shine as a second sun. Analyze what they say in 1983 about the comet, planet, or galaxy is the icy cloud of Orion. I remember good. And now they say that we may see a big object in the naked eye in this year, and the sun is having icy objects too. Sometimes icy objects. So maybe this is the planet Nibiru, maybe it's a comet. I don't know. Maybe this is doing the change of the world. But we need to be very looking at the information about this situation, because it's very weird and it's not really good what is happening now. Let's see what happens next. But the 2011, 21 days, very active, very crazy things happening, and let's see what's going on next. I expect of what is going on and what I'm reading that the next month, the next 30 days, we will see something very interesting happening in our world. Let's hope not, but it's the truth. Something is going on to our world. Thank you. Have a good, pleasant night, and goodbye. Thank you.